put something in the food?
No. To spoil your next breakfast, lunch, and probably dinner as well, here are the top grossest things ever found in food.
Give me your hat. Why? Because I'm gonna puke in it.
A frog in the veggies.
I can taste them frog legs already.
Many families cook up frozen vegetables, and while it's a good idea, a few years ago, a family from Grand Ledge, Michigan had a very peculiar encounter during their dinner preparation. In 2010, the Hoffman family opened a bag of frozen veggies they had bought at Meijer, their local grocery store, and found a stinky, chilled surprise. Only it wasn't extra pieces of asparagus. No, it was a dead frog, frozen solid, sitting atop a small hill of peas, carrots, and corn with its mouth slightly open. Of course, shrieks, screams, and pure panic quickly followed, and the frozen veggies for dinner plan was scrapped.
Not today, and not tomorrow, and not the next day or the day after that.
The Hoffmans took a picture, kept the amphibian sealed in its final resting place, and called the FDA right away. As days passed by and nothing was being done, the couple grew worried about the rest of the vegetable buying community. So they decided to take matters into their own hands and turned to a local newspaper, which called up Meijer. The store eventually formally apologized and issued a recall of the frozen mixed veggies. Needless to say, the Hoffmans vowed to never eat anything from a bag without looking inside first.
Safety first, safety last, safety always.
Mickey Do.
Fine, mouse, fine, mouse.
Ronald Ball just wanted to enjoy a refreshing can of Mountain Dew back in 2009, but instead was met with a dead rodent. Understandably, he didn't let the incident slide and decided to take PepsiCo to court in hopes of getting $50,000 in damages. However, the soda giant did not believe Roland's claim and highly disputed the matter. According to them, if a mouse had indeed been sealed into a can, it would have disintegrated before anyone could see it. Not sure if this is supposed to make us feel better or more disgusted, but anyway. Basically, there isn't enough acid in the soda to preserve the mouse, but there is enough for it to dissolve into a jelly-like substance and start to smell real bad.
That is the most disgusting thing I ever heard.
Thank you. The same year, Fred Denigri of Ormond Beach, Florida, also made a shocking discovery. Something slimy and thick resembling pink linguine, followed by dark stuff, came out of his Pepsi can. The contents were examined and results concluded that it was a frog or a toad. This particular incident closely matched what Pepsi said would happen if a vermin ever found its way into a can. The moral of the story: always check and pour your soda in a cup before drinking it.
I think we better double check. You remember what happened last time.
Metal stuffed donut.
You ate your coin.
Yes, I thought it was chocolate.
Donuts are so amazing. There are so many flavors, toppings, and they can be filled with just about everything. From strawberry jelly and custard to, apparently, a bunch of metal pieces. The young Kansas boy was rushed to the hospital in Fort Riley due to abdominal pains after ingesting a seemingly innocent donut from Walmart. The donut contained several sharp pieces of metal, which ended up causing a lot of internal damage. According to his mom, there were pieces of black metal. Some of them looked like rings, like washers off of a little screw. Some of them were black metal fragments, like real sharp pieces.
Oh my God, just spit it out, spit it.
The parents first noticed something was off when Logan said the donut was crunchy and noticed he had a chipped tooth. The store did pull the bakery donuts and worked closely with the FDA to figure out how the metal got into the baked goods. Among the possibilities were two of the most plausible ones. Either the metal shards accidentally got swept into the donut batter, or someone deliberately contaminated them. After being on antibiotics and a clear liquid diet, the little boy made it through and recovered. But it probably took a while before eating another donut.
Never again! Never!
Lost a tooth?
I've lost everything. I can't. Oh, God.
Everybody knows that candy and chocolate aren't good for your teeth. Your parents, your dentist, practically everyone has been telling you this since you were a kid. Well, a woman from Brownsboro, Texas will likely never forget this life lesson after eating her last Milky Way bar ever. It was back in 2010 that, while on a road trip to Dallas with her husband, Sue Calhoun found a stranger's tooth in her candy bar. Imagine the horror. As she took the first bite, everything was normal, but then on the second, she bit into something hard. She figured it must have been a peanut, only Milky Way bars don't have peanuts or any other kind of nuts in them, and that's when she realized what had just happened.
Good Lord!
No.
The tooth, silver filling and all, had been baked into the candy bar and obviously did not belong to her. Thankfully, none of her own teeth were harmed when biting down, no chips or cracks. The only thing Calhoun was worried about was where the tooth came from, so she decided to call the Mars Candy Company to get some answers. In return, she was offered an apology letter from the company as well as coupons for free candy bars. Calhoun was asked to send the tooth as well as the candy bar back to Mars, but instead kept both as evidence and had it examined by a dentist.
Let me see your teeth. Let me see them.
McRoach.
A big fat roach!
A user on Reddit went viral after posting a picture of his half-eaten hash brown from McDonald's. The problem with his hash brown? It had a deep-fried cockroach stuck to the bottom half of it. To deal with the gruesome discovery, he went back to the restaurant, showed his receipt to the cashier, and demanded a breakfast coupon for the same meal. While this McRoach incident is rather McDisgusting, it's not the first time bugs have been found inside McDonald's food. In 2010, Tommy Lamb from Ontario, Canada discovered at least 50 dead ants in his breakfast burrito.
Oh my God, I ate an ant. Oh, I just ate another one.
When he returned to the outlet, he wasn't given any apology, only an offer to replace his burrito. A year later, it was a Miami family who had their trip to the Golden Arches ruined by insect parts found in their meals. And finally, the following year, 3 McDonald's restaurants in Perth, Australia were fined more than $50,000 for health breaches, including selling food and drink containing insects. Among the culprits was a cricket pancake and an iced coffee with a cockroach stuck inside.
Ew, look! A cockroach!
The mouse in the bread.
You eat mice.
I don't eat mice.
Yes, you do. You're a mouse eater. Mouse eater.
Over the years, there have been plenty of mouse/bread encounters, each more worrisome and disgusting than the last. In 2009, however, things got particularly gross when Stephen Forsey of Oxfordshire, England, was making sandwiches for his children and came upon a shocking lump at the bottom of the bag. At first, he thought maybe it was only a piece of dough that wasn't mixed properly, but after further inspection, he realized the dough was actually a mouse, missing a tail, but embedded in the corner of 3 or 4 slices. Forsey said he had already used some of the bread before the furry vermin was discovered, which only added to his disgust.
Best meatball sandwich there is.
Sherwell District Council and environmental health officers visited the family's home to collect evidence, and Premier Foods profusely apologized for the distress. All bakery production was stopped at the site, and a thorough investigation was conducted. It was concluded that this was an isolated incident that affected a single product, as there was no evidence of mice within the property nor any history of similar issues. Another situation happened, this time at a Hamilton grocery store in Ontario, when a woman spotted a live mouse in the bag of bread, which of course sent people into a general panic.
I saw a mouse.
Knack and nail.
It's mac and cheeseals.
Sometimes a good bowl of mac and cheese is just the pick-me-up you need to end your day on a good note. This is what Rebecca Shorten was hoping to do in 2008 when she heated up her pre-packaged mac and cheese dinner, only her night ended at the hospital. The 21-year-old bride-to-be at the time from Gloucester, England, found not 1, not 2, but 3 2-inch nails swimming around the meal she had bought at supermarket giant Tesco. As she ate, she bit into something hard and took a nail out of the macaroni. After digging further into her plate, to her surprise, she found another one.
Teddy nail Bob's tomatoes back together and go!
Nailed tomatoes?
Not long after, Rebecca fell ill and headed to the emergency room where an x-ray confirmed she had swallowed the third nail and it was in her intestines, working its way through her system. As doctors couldn't take the nail out themselves, Rebecca had to let nature take its course and wait for it to pass on its own. Tesco obviously had to recall its value macaroni and cheese, and Rebecca swore she would never eat any Tesco-ready meals again and let her fiancé do the cooking from that moment on.
Fate is cruel and unyielding, and what must be, must be.
A Meal for Slytherins.
Call me Draco Malfoy, cause I am Slytherin!
This time, it was at a TGI Friday location near Schenectady, New York, all the way back in 2009. The unlucky fellow was Jack Pendleton, who was dining at the restaurant. In an attempt to eat a little healthier, a pretty hard thing to do at a place where a burger can be 1,600 calories, Pendleton decided to substitute a side of vegetables for the fries that usually come with the Jack Daniel's chicken sandwich. So a side dish of broccoli was brought to him, only it had a little extra protein added to it. At first, he thought it was a mushroom, but he was quickly proven wrong.
Wait a second.
A little nudge was enough to reveal the black and rotten reptile head with bits of spine and tendons hanging out of the neck, which Pendleton said was about the size of his thumb. He called the waiter over to let him know that, well, there was a problem with his food. The waiter thought he was joking until he saw the head, after which he proceeded to violently gag. After laboratory tests, it was determined that the snake head had not been cooked. Therefore, it had been added to the broccoli at the restaurant. That's what you get for ordering broccoli at TGI Fridays.
It's a snake, the terrifying snake.
Arachnids and Fruits.
Oh my God, Peter, there's a spider in here.
The love affair between arachnids and fruit wasn't born yesterday. In fact, they're one of the most common things people find in their produce. Not too long ago, Jorge Fuentes from Boston found one of the scariest things in his bag of grapes. Not one, but two poisonous and sometimes deadly black widow spiders. Fuentes and his son had bought the grapes at Whole Foods Market in Brighton and were hoping for a light afternoon snack. Instead, they noticed that the grapes were full of spider webs, and there a black and shiny spider was sitting at the bottom of the bag.
There's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man?
While a black widow bite is rarely deadly, their neurotoxin venom can be extremely painful and bring muscle cramps, vomiting, and dizziness. The arachnid saga doesn't stop there. In 2014, a live scorpion was discovered by a British woman named Angela Parrin in a bag of sealed bananas. But the 3-inch poisonous scorpion wasn't a local. It had hitched a 5,000-mile ride from its native country of Costa Rica. Even though these findings were particularly dangerous, seeing a spider in your bag of fruit every once in a while shouldn't be a cause for concern.
There's a very large spider on your hand.
Bloody order.
A wet sandwich?
Yeah, a wet sandwich.
Believe it or not, blood has been found more than once in fast food orders, leaving customers in shock every time, and for good reason. Like in 2006, for example, when Brianna Ralston picked up some Taco Bell takeout in Louisville. As she went to devour the tacos, she found blood all over the bag and wrappers. A loss of appetite immediately followed. She called the restaurant to explain her situation, to which a manager replied that an employee had cut her finger and bled all over the order. Understandably, she called the health department, got a lawyer, and was ready to get some payback.
Give me my money! Think I won't manhandle a little boy?
If you thought this was gross, well, get ready for this next bloody face-to-face. Susan Mosher ordered a BLT and fries at a Cracker Barrel in Houston, Texas in 2011. Only instead of ketchup, she was served a different kind of red sauce. The blood-stained BLT was courtesy of the chef who had cut himself while preparing the blood-soaked sandwich. Since he put her life in danger, Mosher asked for a blood test to be done for her peace of mind.
You don't want that kind of blood in your hands. Believe me.
Stay right here and tap or click another great video. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to join our notification squad.